This season has been an absolute disaster, but we finally got a couple things to talk about that aren't completely depressing. The Raiders made a move this week that's got Raider Nation buzzing a little bit, and we also got to see what this offense looks like without Chip Kelly calling the shots. Sunday's game against the Chargers gave us some answers about all the drama that's been swirling around, and honestly, we're starting to see who is really holding back some of these young guys. Plus, there's this sneaky signing that could actually mean something for our future, especially if it brings one of the greatest players of all time back into our building. What's up, Raider Nation? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Raiders. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Raiders. So the Raiders just signed Brendan Rice, son of Jerry Rice. I know the name might not ring a bell for everyone since he's been bouncing around the league, but hear me out on this one. Brendan was drafted by the Chargers originally. That was the only team where he actually got on the field for real NFL snaps, though it wasn't much. Since then, he's been shuffling through practice squads with the Seahawks and Patriots. Now he's landing with us, and I'm trying to figure out what this really means for the organization going forward. Look, I'll be straight with you. I don't have much confidence in how this current regime develops young receivers. We've seen it with guys like Jack Betch and Dante Thornton Jr. There was so much hope when they came in, but it just hasn't panned out the way we wanted. Still, this signing tells me something. It shows the front office is at least thinking about the future, and that's what we need right now. If Brendan has even a fraction of what his dad brought to the game, he could contribute something real to this team. I'm not expecting him to be our #1 receiver or anything crazy like that, but a solid third option who can make plays on special teams? That would be fantastic. His father needs no introduction. One of the greatest to ever do it, spent most of his career dominating with the 49ers, then came to Oakland and gave us some really solid years before hanging it up. For Brendan, those are massive shoes to fill. Just getting drafted means you've got talent. But let's be real, he's been a practice squad guy for a while now. That's fine, though. He doesn't need to be the next Jerry Rice. Nobody's asking for that. What I am saying is that this move has given me something I haven't had much of this year, and that's hope. When I dug into Brendan's college career, I actually got pretty encouraged by what I saw. Back in 2020, he had 6 catches for 120 yards and a couple touchdowns. Those are big play numbers right there. The next year at Colorado, he put up 21 receptions for almost 300 yards. Then things really clicked when he transferred to USC. In 2022, he caught 39 balls for 611 yards and 4 scores. His final college season was even better, with 45 receptions, 791 yards, and 12 touchdowns. That progression is exactly what you want to see from a developing player. Those numbers got him drafted by the Chargers in the 7th round. Now, I've seen some comments questioning this move, and I get it. People are saying, if the Chargers, Seahawks, and Patriots all passed on him, why should we think we know better? Those organizations are generally considered better at talent evaluation than we've been lately. Fair point. But here's the thing. We're talking about a practice squad signing here. It's low risk, high reward. And the reward isn't just about Brendan himself. If you've got a guy whose father is Jerry Rice, one of the most beloved figures in football history, that connection alone is valuable. Having the greatest receiver of all time potentially around your building, around your young receivers, that's not something you pass up. By bringing Brendan into the organization, you're creating a natural avenue for Jerry to be around more. I saw someone comment that this gets one more voice in Mark Davis's ear, and honestly, if that voice is Jerry Rice, I'm all for it. There are plenty of people whispering advice to Mark, but having a Hall of Famer who actually played for the Raiders, that's different. Maybe Mark will actually listen to what Jerry has to say about building a receiving core, about what it takes to win. Even if it's not directly about his son, imagine Jerry Rice coming in to work with our current receivers. Guys like Jack Betch, Dante Thornton Jr., Trey Tucker, they could all benefit from his wisdom. Let him talk to Brock Bowers about route running and using your body. Get Ashton Jeanty involved since he's becoming part of the passing game. There's so much our young guys could learn from someone who literally defined the position. I'm sure Jerry would be welcome in the building even without his son on the roster. But having Brendan here just makes those interactions more natural and frequent. And we're so bad right now that we might actually see Brendan get some playing time by week 18. Why not let the practice squad guys show what they can do? If he's still here, I'm looking forward to watching him get some real reps, build his confidence, and actually get some stats on the board. Now, moving to another hot topic. There's been so much drama about whose offense we've actually been running for the first 12 games. When Chip Kelly got fired, everybody wanted to point fingers at him. Reports came out about him forgetting plays he just called, running stuff the team hadn't even practiced. Then we heard that Tom Brady, our minority owner, was involved in game planning. That wasn't even really a rumor because Kelly himself told reporters that Brady was helping. Later on, different stories emerged saying Kelly wasn't even running his own system, that Carroll had sabotaged him. Both sides blamed each other for why guys from this year's draft weren't getting opportunities. All these insider reports and anonymous sources, they're telling different stories to different people, but you can't always trust what people say. The truth comes out in what happens on the field. I've been saying we'd get answers to all these questions as the season played out, and the loss to the Chargers this past Sunday gave us some clues. It didn't change the result, though. We took a step forward, but it was such a tiny step that it barely mattered. One thing that stood out was Caleb Rogers finally getting his shot. He made his first career start at guard, and it's about time. The previous couple games made it pretty obvious the team was doing everything possible to keep him off the field. Against Dallas, they actually put Will Putnam back in while he was hurt just to avoid playing Rodgers. That's insane because Putnam is terrible even when he's healthy. Rodgers should have been in there. With Kelly gone, Rodgers finally got the reps he desperately needed, and he looks pretty solid out there. They didn't give him full starter snaps, though. He was rotating with Antonio Maffey, who just got called up from the practice squad. Maffey looked pretty decent too, so I guess we've got an actual competition at right guard now. Given how rough they both look, and especially how bad Dylan Parham has been, maybe we should open up both guard positions for competition. I love to tell you the offensive line looks significantly better with Maffey and Rodgers in there, but I can't. They were marginally better, but not enough to really matter. We desperately need Colton Miller back at left tackle and Jackson Powers-Johnson back at center before we can properly evaluate anything. The center position is a whole mess right now. We're probably going to have to wait until Powers returns to figure out what they're actually planning. Kelly has said Jordan Meredith was what you wanted center, but he looked awful there. When Kelly got canned, Meredith was hurt anyway, so he wasn't even active. That meant Alex Kappa played center against the Chargers, and honestly, Kappa looked pretty good, better than Meredith ever did at that spot. So now we've got even more questions. When Meredith gets healthy, does he go back to center or stay at guard? Remember, they moved him to guard to try Will Putnam as center against Dallas, and that was a disaster. Does Kappa stay at center? What happens when Powers comes back? Does he reclaim the center spot or stay at guard? I still think Powers is our best option in the middle, but we'll see. It's almost fitting that Powers might have to compete with Kappa as center after they already competed for the right guard job earlier. As far as the actual play calling and strategy, it was okay, I guess. Greg Olson is the interim coordinator now, and there's only so much he can do. He can't completely overhaul the system this season. He's still running Kelly's offense for the most part. But I did notice something different. They actually tried to get the ball to our best players. We didn't have enough possessions or sustain drives long enough, which was a problem. We only ran 46 offensive plays while the Chargers had 67. In the first half alone, we only ran 19 plays. But of those 46 plays, Ashton Jeanty got 21 touches. That's the kind of usage we can live with. Sunday showed progress. I'll give him that. But it didn't matter because the progress was too small. Rodgers played, Maffey played, and even if they both became solid starters tomorrow, the offensive line would still be struggling with Miller and Powers hurt. Jeanty touched the ball on 46% of our plays, which is great, but we only ran 46 plays total. Bowers needs more opportunities, though. At least he's getting red zone targets now. The defense needs to get stops and give our offense more chances. We're doing our best to make something out of this disaster of a season, and that's all we can do at this point.